I'm not going to pretend like I'm upset about it or I feel sorry for them. It's Chelsea and we're Arsenal, so it's good times.
It wasn't Felix the cat, it was Felix the rhymes with cat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was.
To be fair, he got quite quickly into the physicality, didn't he, of the Premier League?
Well, we'll get to Felix in just a minute, but just an update on this station's or this show's co-presenter, often presenter, Mr. Jason Cundy. We've texted him to see if we can get his thoughts and his reaction to the game. I can't repeat what the response was to our producer Rufus here. But the second word did end in the letter F.
The second word
of the two words.
Off.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So yeah.
And it wasn't sending off.
But no, it wasn't. But we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. On Felix, what did you make of his debut? Because it started lively. He had a couple of good half chances, but it didn't end so well.
Well, he was the best player on the pitch, wasn't he?
Which says a lot.
Until he got sent off. He was Chelsea's best player by far in the first half. He created a great chance in the first minute for Havertz, and then obviously it went to Lewis. Well, Chelsea could have gone 1-0 up in the first minute. Yeah. And he looked very, very lively. On the sending off, you can't go in with a straight leg, with your studs showing, and if he'd have caught Tete on the knee, that's a really bad injury. And to be fair to Tete, he saw it was coming, when you can ride that sort of challenge. So it was excessive force. David Coote, referee, was 100% right. It was a sending off.
Ben, Jerry, Tom, another Ben, Paz, don't worry, we're going to get to you shortly, but I'm sure you want to hear from your manager. We can hear now from the Chelsea manager, Graham Potter, speaking to Sam Matterface after the Fulham defeat.
Well, Graeme, the red card appeared to be a key moment in the game. Joao Felix had an impact on your team up until that point. What did you make of the decision?
Yeah, I can understand it. I don't think there was too much malice in it at all. I think it's just a bit of a forwards tackle and mistimed. And, I think the reaction of the opponents make it an easy one for the referee to give. So disappointing because I thought Joao was doing really, really well. You can see his quality. I think he's going to be an exciting player for us. But obviously, to lose him then was a blow for us because you're playing 10 men and then it becomes more complicated.
It becomes a lot more complicated going forward as well, because bearing in mind you've only got him on loan until the end of the season and he could only possibly play 20 league games for you. He's going to miss the next 3.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, very disappointing.
And what have you said to him in the dressing room afterwards?
No, nothing. I mean, it's a football action. Like I said, I don't think there was any malice in it. There was no real intent. It's just he's tried to win the ball and got himself into a bit of a mess in terms of his foot in relation to the defender. It can happen, but for our perspective, like I said, it's difficult from there. But I thought the application of the players from that point with 10 men was good. We kept going in the game. Disappointed with the goal because I don't think they created anything in terms of before that or after that. Really, we had some opportunities ourselves, but it's just a tough night for us.
How concerned are you about the run that you're currently on, 1 win in 10 Premier League games?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a statistic that we like to hear, and it's certainly a tough period for us. Absolutely, I feel for the supporters and I feel for everybody connected with the club.
There's a few young defenders that were involved tonight. You've been forced to use them maybe a little bit earlier than maybe you would have liked because of the injury situation that you're in. How much of a baptism of fire has it been for them?
Well, Lewis has played against Manchester City, he's played against Newcastle. You can see his quality. He was on a booking, so we felt that it was right to bring him off. But he's done great in the games for us. So he's been a positive in this period. And the rest of the guys, Trevor's played experience, a lot of games for us. And then we've got Thiago and Koulibaly and Aspi there. So there's enough experience there.
Yeah, in terms of the way things are going, you've had some bad luck with injuries. You've lost a lot of games. You've drawn a lot of games. You've dropped a lot of points. You're now 10 points behind Manchester United that are in 4. Do you still feel that you can plot a course through the maelstrom? Because there's a lot of attention on you and scrutiny as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it comes with the territory, and everyone's frustrated and everyone's disappointed, including us. We'd love to be in a better situation. We're not. We have to deal with it as best we can and come through. It'll help us to get some players back, of course, because then you're stronger. You can see the impact that Joao has on the team. So there are positives going forward, but at the moment it's a dark position.
It's just patience that's required.
Well, it's of course it's patience. It's us to do more. It's us to do better. It's up to everybody to take that responsibility. And I understand, like I said, always the frustration and the position of the supporters. Absolutely. So we have to keep going.
Yeah, Sam Matterface there speaking to the Chelsea manager Graham Potter after the game there. Just seen a brilliant headline on the back, I think, the Mail for tomorrow's papers. Ciao, Joao. There, just a nice little bit of word. Ciao. Sorry, I got it wrong. It was Joao Felix. Yeah, my producer there reminded me what it actually was there. I messed up the punchline there. That was the manager Graham Potter. I'm really keen to hear from Chelsea fans what your thoughts on him. As I mentioned at the top, is he just unlucky or is he just big time out of his depth? And also Fulham fans, give me a call. I mean, 2 Fulham fans so far talking about, forget Europe, they're talking Champions League football. So, you know, how far can you go? Let's get through the sea of Chelsea supporters we've got here first. We'll start with Ryan, the Chelsea supporter. Good evening, Ryan.
Right, lads, what's crack?
Evening, Ryan.
You're right, mate. Do you think it's time to pull the bullet now, pull the trigger now even, get rid of him, get someone in that can salvage the season, or are you better off riding this out, like the previous caller said, writing the season off and having a full pre-season to go again next year?
See, I'm not like any other normal Chelsea fan.
Ooh.
I'm very impatient. And
You're very impatient.
Yeah, very impatient.
I'll say you're quite normal then. Yeah.
But I just think Tuchel was sacked unfairly. I think every Chelsea fan you'll talk to will say that. And we got rid of one of the best managers in the world who won the Champions League in the space of 5 months or so. And we swapped him out for a manager that arguably his best accomplishment was in the Swedish league. So I just don't believe that he isn't the future of Chelsea, in my opinion.
Okay, Ryan wants him out. Let's go to Gary, the Chelsea fan. I'm going to rattle through a few, then I'll get your response in a minute. Perry, let's speak to Gary. Gary, good evening.
Evening, gents. You all right?
Hello, Gary.
We're doing better than you, mate. Out of his depth, or give him time to turn this around?
How far out of your depth do you need him to be? He's massively out of his depth.
Armbands?
It's beyond armbands. He needs a float, armbands,
Rubber ring?
a boat. A lot. He's so out of his depth. I wasn't convinced when he first joined. I've phoned in the last few times after games. He's so far out of his depth. Now, the players aren't playing for him. That's obvious. Now, that in itself, I mean, I'm involved at the game in a semi-pro level, not the highest levels of the game, obviously, but for players not to play for a club, I think is disgraceful, and it happens all over the game. But having said that, it takes a certain type of manager to get the best out of players, and he can't do it. It's, you know, he hasn't got them. I don't think he's ever had the dressing room. Whatever this, in inverted commas, process is, I don't think the players have bought into it at all. They don't believe in it. They don't trust it.
So let me ask you, Gary, because I think there's a lot of hindsight going on here in terms of people saying Tuchel shouldn't have been sacked. Tuchel didn't get sacked on the back of 3 or 4 poor performances. It was going badly wrong for Tuchel for 6 months. I'd argue they weren't playing for Tuchel then. So my question is the manager the problem, or is the infrastructure at the club problematic with a new owner, or are the players the problem? Is it, if you change the manager tomorrow, would you shoot up the table again?
I think we would. The past year and a half since the whole Abramovich thing came about, that's been a pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Pressure situation for everyone connected.
It was traumatic off the pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was completely traumatic.
Very, very, very traumatic off the pitch, and that would have a detrimental effect on any team. Yeah, it was a distraction that nobody needed. But should Tuchel have gone? Was Tuchel affected like everybody else with the whole situation? Because it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. And you hear the fans singing for Abramovich and Tuchel and on the terraces today, because I'm driving back from the game. You had, we want our Chelsea back. Potter is just out of his depth.
Gary, when you hear him being interviewed, right?
Yeah.
When the top managers they're a little bit can be a little bit prickly, and we sometimes get the umpty a little bit narky. And when he was asked there about Joao Felix, he said, "Well, it was just a football action. I didn't really say anything to him."
As well. Just
right?
lie and back the player.
And also, no, I'm actually saying in private, Joao Felix has cost Chelsea the game by a reckless action. So you can't just go, "That's okay."
It's not okay, no. And
he didn't say it was okay to be
fair.
No,
he said, "I understand it. It was a football action."
Okay, yeah.
But it was reckless.
Players get sent off. Yeah, it's part and parcel of the game. Players get injured, players get sent off. It's part and parcel of the game. It always has been. It always will be. Yes, it didn't help. Were we truly in the game? Really? I don't think we were.
Gary, I don't think it was
bad.
I think it
was 50-50 in the first half.
I just think it looks very Brighton to me. Just like Brighton were always nice to play against, and they didn't have an end product, and they couldn't score goals. And that's exactly what Chelsea are looking like at the moment.